Hello, it's Ron back here. It's Autel Friday here. Yes, I'm back with the Autel show today. I try to do a Autel show once a week, and what I've got for you today is I'm kind of late to the party here with the Evo. This is the Evo 2 Pro by Autel, and so I'm a little late to the party. This came out, was announced at CES in January of 2020. And it was delayed by, of course, the COVID. It didn't really come out until about May of 2020. I picked mine up around my birthday in beginning of October. So, I had a couple, test flights or whatever. But one of the first, real, kind of all-out flights I did was about the middle of October over at the Ocean City, New Jersey Boardwalk. The Ocean City is a, very popular beach resort place in the summertime, and it's packed over there. But by October, all the tourists are long gone. So I not only got some nice drone footage, but I also was able to get some footage with my GoPro and my bicycle handles on the boardwalk. So take a look at this video. I hope you enjoyed it. And at the end of this video, I'm going to come back and I'll go through some of the specs and whatnot I did with the with the cameras and everything. So if you don't care about the all the behind the scenes stuff or whatever, you can just watch the video and go. But if you want to hear some of my settings, specs and so on, drop back at the end and we'll go over them. Okay, enjoy the video. All right, folks, I hope you enjoyed that flight of the EVO 2 Pro up on the Ocean City, New Jersey Boardwalk. I wish it was a very nice day that day. It was like I'm going to say it was in the mid 70s, plenty of sun, gentle breeze, like the perfect day to be out and about. So some of the background on the video. I'll start with the ground video. It was recorded with the GoPro Hero 7. I had it mounted to the handlebars of my bicycle, just on kind of a standard, GoPro, probably knockoff bicycle mount. And so I record that, 4K 30, I believe, 4K 30, 24. I digress here. Maybe I shot 4K 60, but I doubt it. Anyhow, I've at the end of the project, when I created I did the editing in Final Cut Pro, and I set the frame rate to 24. So whatever I shot in was eventually brought down to 24 frames per second. But I probably shot it in 30. I don't often put it in 60 because I don't do a lot of slow motion. I know you can supposedly slow it down, make it look smoother, and I'm not saying that's wrong, but it takes a lot of extra kind of horsepower at the other end to mess with the 60 frames per second, especially at 4K. So I usually don't do it. But anyhow, I digress. So that was the ground footage, and now all the drone footage was shot by the Autel EVO 2 Pro. I was telling you, this was almost like my first real flight beyond some test flights. So the settings were mostly in auto. I don't think I did any HDR yet. I think I shot it, at 4K 30. I probably messed around with the white balance a little bit to get that right, and I think I had the color profile put to none. It sounds dumb, but they have none, color, D-Log, something else or whatever. So I think I had it to none, white balance. I manually adjusted Kelvin to around 5600, which I usually do with this drone. This drone tends to be a little warmer than my DJI drones, which tend to be a little cooler. So I may have the DJI drones up to 58, 6000, 6200 Kelvin. Where I keep this about 56, and Kelvin's all like a white balance setting for anybody that doesn't know what I'm talking about. So too much inside baseball here. So yeah, basics were settings were basically mostly auto, except for the stuff I did discuss. And I may have used I didn't use them in all the shots, but I did use the dehaze button in the settings that bottom left hand corner. You could pull those extra settings out. So I think I did have the dehaze going on some of the clips, but I kind of was playing around. So every clip may have had a slightly different settings. And in post production work, I used the color wheels to adjust contrast and shadows and but it was no LUTs or anything. You just dial on the color wheels in a little bit to bring the highlights in or the shadows in and right. So what you saw was basically very little change in the auto settings and very little touch up in the post work. So I shot it at a couple different locations. 2 different spots on the beach I shot at. I think I was entirely flying from the beach, because at this point, especially later in the day, this was maybe between 5 and 6 o'clock, and the sun was setting pretty early by this point already. I'm going to say sunset was maybe 6:30, something like that. So all my launches were from the beach, but I think I moved to 2 different locations to kind of get both ends. The one end, the north end, down there by the Wonderland Park, we saw the big Ferris wheel. And I moved up to the beyond the music center at one point to get some other shots a little bit north. I shot the Ocean City Fishing Pier, another video, but not this one. I think maybe with a different drone, but that's kind of even more north up to where the boardwalk narrows down. And then on the way out of town, I stopped by the Ocean City Long Park Bridge, I believe that's the accurate name of it, to go back to the mainland again. And it's a little park right as you're leaving, right beside the toll booth. I pulled off at that park and caught the the kind of the afterglow of the sunset, with the bridge and the foreground, a lot of shots. And I even tested the low light capabilities at the end when I came in off the bay and flew over a little bit of the island there with the house lights and street lights all kind of on already, and you can see that little inlet down at the end where I stopped. So I got a little low light testing in. I was very pleased with the low light performance on the EVO 2 Pro. I didn't do a lot of tweaking. It was just the way it is. I don't think I even manually opened the shutter up because it's got a manual aperture and everything in here. Well, I don't think I opened it up to 2.8, but I think it did on its own to the widest aperture so you could get in the most light. So yeah, I was very pleased with the low light. I thought it was better than what I saw on my Mavic 2 Pro. Don't hit me with water balloons here, but I think it was a little bit better in low light than the Mavic 2 Pro, but be further testing, going into the future. I'm going to do a camera test actually between the Mavic 2 Pro and the EVO 2 Pro in the future here. I'm kind of housebound right now with the extreme cold weather at the Jersey Shore right now. But again, I think that's kind of it, for the setup. Of course I flew with the standard control, which I guess is the only controller is for the EVO 2. I think I used probably a combination of the iPhone 11 Pro and the iPad Mini 5 as my devices, my screens that I use to fly the drone with. So got good battery life. I think I flew both batteries at one point, but had plenty of battery life on both of them when I got home. I mean, I didn't run them down to 5%. They still had, probably each one still had probably 20% on. I got a lot of flying in that day. So I won't ramble on and on here. If if you enjoyed this type of video, let me know, and I will do even more content on the Autel EVO 2. This is a Pro, but 2 Pro is outside the camera. It's the same drone. Otherwise, we just kind of a new firmware kind of recently on this. Maybe I'll do a little video on the most recent firmware update for the EVO 2 Pro or the EVO 2. I wanted to say the EVO 2. But otherwise, and I have more stuff in the can that I filmed when the weather was good from the EVO, the EVO 2 Pro that I'll get around to. I kind of got sidetracked on the EVO 2 videos when the DJI the Mini 2 came out, because then I flipped over doing a lot of videos on that, much requested. So but again, I did film a lot of stuff with the EVO 2, just the editing and putting them all together is what takes so long. So with that being said, hit the like button if you enjoyed it, subscribe to the channel if you want to see more Autel content, and don't forget that ring notification button so you do know when I put my video up. And I will, as they say on YouTube, I will see you on the next one.